So we've been talking about a lot of sales and deals for the Nintendo Switch recently on the channel, and that is simply for the fact that there is a ton of Nintendo Switch sales and deals going on right now, as clearly we are well into Black Friday season 2022. And while we've covered stories like Nintendo's Direct, across the board Black Friday pricing, in addition to a breakdown of the sale from all individual retailers for Nintendo Switch deals, and in today's video we have to go over Nintendo's eShop Black Friday 2022 pricing, as we now have the full list of digital titles that are discounted that you can hop in and download right now. And we have to talk about all the notable discounts and which games you may want to hop in and download at a discounted price right now. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below. Hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today. Make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. As I mentioned, guys, today we are making yet another sales and deals video on Nintendo Switch in Black Friday season 2022, because that's kind of the hot topic right now, because everybody revealed and pulled back the curtain on all of their sales and discounts. And while some are definitely better and more notable than others when it comes to what retailers and what discounted games you can go out and pick up, this one is one that you don't have to leave your home for, as today we are discussing Nintendo's Direct eShop discounted prices that they are branding cyber deals. And to quickly cover the date that you can hop in and download these titles, it starts November 21st at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and it ends on December 4th at 11:59 Pacific time. So all of these prices are valid and available until then. And right out of the gate, you do have one that we should really spend a little bit of time on, because this is a lot of fun. This is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, which you may remember Super Mario 3D World being a Wii U title if you owned a Wii U. Not many people did though, because only 13 million of those sold versus the 110 plus million that we are now well past on the Switch. But it is that same core game that has a top-down overhead view of Mario with still a 3D type of perspective, and you can actually play 4 players simultaneously on this with some fantastic stages. And they actually sped up the gameplay by about 30%, if I'm not mistaken, from what it was on the Wii U, honestly making this a much better, more enjoyable version to play of the game. But the big thing that comes in addition to just that same Wii U port is Bowser's Fury, which of course is what I would consider to be a beta test for what a open zone style Mario game might look like, where you have one giant map that you can traverse and do different things that are all connected, no loading screens in between, and it's a really fun, unique experience to go through. And while it's not the longest Mario adventure by any means, it's definitely one that I think fans of the series should pick up, and that is 30% off right now, or $41.99. Zelda Skyward Sword HD is also $41.99 digitally. There are better prices out there if you buy it directly from retailers, and keep that in mind. You may want to watch some of the other videos on the channel. If you really want to buy everything digitally, this is the spot. But if you do want to have some physical media, and that's how you prefer to purchase games, you can actually get some of these at a better price through retailers than you can from Nintendo's Direct eShop. Cult of the Lamb, a very culty type of game that is an indie title that actually looks like a lot of fun. $19.99, $5 off. It's a pretty recent release, so while it's not a huge discount, it's also a newer game, which you would expect to see maybe a little bit less of a discount. Assassin's Creed, the Ezio collection, is the most recent collection of Assassin's Creed games on the Switch. That is half price at $19.99 right now. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. I feel like this game should be cheaper than $41.99, honestly, as many of these games should actually have a deeper discount, I feel like, at this point in time. But this is still a fun classic 2D style Mario game, side scroller. You know and love it. It's been around, it's been the formula since the original NES, and you can play with 4 players simultaneously, which is where I have a lot of fun on those side scrolling Mario games. If you have friends over that know just the basics of video games, or they know Mario, it's a lot of fun to go through those levels and lands together. So one that I would recommend having in your collection, but not necessarily impressed at the price point on this particular discount at $41.99. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga collection. This is also slightly cheaper through different retailers, but is available digitally for $27.99. EA Sports FIFA 23, half price right now, $19.99. Fire Emblem Three Houses plus expansion pack, or you can just get the base game by itself. Not sure of everything that's included in the expansion pack with this, but it's $60 instead of $84 for the bundle, or you can get just the standalone game at $41.99 right now. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. This is actually one that I thoroughly enjoyed and had a lot of fun playing through. Granted, I played it on my PC, one of the few games I bought through Steam, because, well, they messed up one thing with this game. While I love the combat and the story and everything it has to offer, they did the classical Dragon Ball Z soundtrack and not the Bruce Falconer version that I grew up with, watching every afternoon episode on Toonami. Like, I had to have that soundtrack when playing through the game. So fortunately on PC you can mod that back in, which totally made it an entirely more enjoyable experience for me personally, but definitely had a lot of fun playing through that. It is different than most Dragon Ball Z games in terms of how it plays, and I really think that while there is some side missions and things that get repetitive, it is an enjoyable experience through and through with a really cool, unique combat system that is upgradable along the way. I had a ton of fun with that, and I think 50% off on the Nintendo Switch is a great deal. Not to mention there's a demo available, so you can hop in and check it out without committing to a purchase price of any type. Then you have Kirby Star Allies, which is a fun game, but nowhere near what Kirby and the Forgotten Land achieved. That's another one that I feel like should be lower than $41.99, but that is available at a 30% off price right now. We will skip through some of the ones I'm not as familiar with. Mario Tennis Aces, another good example of why is this still $41.99? I mean, this was literally like a launch title or right in the launch window for the Switch. I feel like this should definitely be lower cost at this point, but 30% off for Mario Tennis Aces at $41.99 if you want to add it to your collection. You do have a multiplayer pack set for Luigi's Mansion. I wanted to say Mario's Mansion for some reason. That's never been a game, but I would just get the base game personally. I don't know what all is available in the DLC and the multiplayer pack. I guess that's just where you can go through it with a friend, but I didn't do that myself. So $41.99 I think is a decent price for Luigi's Mansion 3, because that game is a ton of fun when it comes to puzzles and spooky exploration and things. And if you played any Luigi's Mansion, you get the idea of what you're going to get into with that. But $41.99 right now on this eShop discount. Bravely Default 2, $41, one that should be cheaper. Multiple retailers have this much cheaper at the $25 or $29.99 price point. This one's a little bit high for me personally. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, if you don't already own it, the game that will not die, that's been re-released probably more times than any other game, is half price, $29.99 right now. Sonic Colors Ultimate is $19.99 on the eShop, similar pricing to what we're seeing in stores. Castlevania Advanced Collection, these are arguably some of the best Castlevania games, period, with honestly some of the best soundtracks ever too. One of the songs I use in half my videos, it seems like, in the background music. I absolutely could not recommend this enough, and it's already not a bad price at $20, but it is now on sale for $11.99 on the eShop. So if you're missing that from your collection, that is one worth picking up digitally at that price, in my personal opinion. Capcom Fighting Collection at $29.99 as opposed to its regular $40. Neon White, another somewhat recent release on the Switch, $19.99, just $5 off its regular retail. Ruined King, A Leg of Legend Story, not familiar with that game, but $15 or half price right now as opposed to its regular $29 retail. Sonic Origins is a game that I had so much fun with over the summer when it launched, and I sunk tons of hours into it, just going through the story mode and enjoying every single Sonic game from that classic 2D era to completion. And I cannot tell you guys how much it just brought back that classic nostalgia trip. These games look better than ever with things like native widescreen support. There were some bugs shortly after launch that people were discovering with the game because they were kind of retooled in the newer engine and not everything came over correctly. Those have since been fixed, and I honestly could not recommend these games enough, specifically if you have heavy nostalgia for the original Sonic the Hedgehog all the way through Sonic and Knuckles, with Sonic CD being included in this collection and it actually being in the correct timeline of events if you do play through the story mode, with really cool animated cutscenes that were created from the ground up to help string the story together. So that one, I think at a $20 price point, I'm still waiting for them to hopefully release this physically rather one day instead of only digital, but digital is the only way you can buy this game right now, and at half price I paid $40 for it and still really enjoyed it. Might as well pick it up at a 50% off, and you can even get the deluxe, which I didn't end up doing, but there is some extra bonuses if you do want to get that for just a couple bucks extra. So look into those yourself and see if it might be worth it to you. NBA 2K23, that's on sale everywhere right now through retailers. That's $26.99, 55% off. Most of the stores had it at just 50% off, so it is a little bit cheaper through the eShop. Demon Slayer's $35.99. That's 40% off right now. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, the classic PC game that blew up back in the day and is now still a fan classic that can be played on anything just about. You have that at $11.14. Return to Monkey Island, very recent release, very small sale though, also just 10% off at $22.49. And then you have Monopoly, if you want to play on your Switch instead, 67% off, $9. So fun, maybe family game if you have some friends over that you want to experience Monopoly together. Astral Chain, a fantastic title for the Switch, $30 or 30% off rather at $41.99. Although again, one that I think you could see some of these a little bit steeper discount than what we are seeing. Dark Souls Remastered. If you don't know already, Sunbro is a direct reference to the Dark Souls series and is honestly one of my favorite game series of all time, second only to Legend of Zelda, and it's still like literally right there with Legend of Zelda. It is that important to me. The gameplay mechanics of these Souls games are so next level to me. It does scratch a similar itch to a Legend of Zelda game with just a very hardcore difficulty, but it is a learning curve that if you can get just past that initial intro point, you get the hook set in and you want to continue to traverse the world. I just hope that we see all the Dark Souls trilogy ultimately brought to the Switch. We may need something like a more powerful Switch to run Dark Souls 3, as that is a much more recent release and definitely would be more demanding graphically. But Dark Souls Remastered at $20, I would highly encourage fans that are maybe on the fence about getting into this game, get ready to die over and over again when you first start it up, but give it a fair shot and see if you don't get that hook set in the same way, and you may stumble into an entire new series that you have to go through and play every single mainline game, plus just anything from software now at this point, like Bloodborne and Sekiro. I'm sold on all of it. So if there's one game that stands out on this list of a recommendation of one that I personally would try to persuade people to at least give some kind of chance to, it is this one at $20. It's not a bad price. So look into it if you want a challenge, and if you want some kind of hardcore sword shield type of mechanic gameplay with just honestly a great world to dive into. And when it comes to mechanics, it's just next level. And it's honestly one that I think has set the bar so high. Even Breath of the Wild, in my opinion, took some ideas from the gameplay mechanics that Dark Souls actually really made popular with the hardcore cult following initially, but then that expanding into the broader universe of Souls fans that are out there today. And I definitely think that people should go give it a chance on the Switch if you haven't already. Grand Theft Auto 3, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, notably one of the buggiest, most broken games, arguably worse than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet when it released. And yes, it is $29.99. I do think that's one of the better deals we've seen on it so far. They've done a lot of patches and things, but it still runs somewhat rough on the Switch from what I've seen recently. But you do get the Game Plus DLC bundle, which I'm not familiar what the DLC bundle actually includes, but we had a fun montage of different graphical glitches that were taking place when this game first dropped. It is now, for the most part, the major stuff has been addressed. So $30, not a bad price if you look at it. $10 a game for some classic Grand Theft Auto games. Marvel Ultimate Alliance at $41.99. No More Heroes 3 half price at $29.99. That's a great deal on that title that is relatively new on the Switch as well. And then we'll skip past these last few, and from here you do have more on the sales and deals pages, but we're not going to read through and spend time on all of these, just for the fact that we've actually covered this in a previous video that will be on the channel. It's literally a few videos back, and I'll have one video linked at the end of this with one of the buying guides on there. But if you really want to dive into the rest of the sales and deals, I have different videos on those that go into it on more detail. And then you do have a Activision Blizzard sale where games like Diablo and Crash Bandicoot, some of the best prices are available on these, both on the eShop and in retailers. It's really the same across the board, whether you want to pick it up physically or digitally. And then lastly, Ubisoft has a sale going on where Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope Gold Edition is marked down 22%. Not sure of everything you get with the Gold Edition, but that's at least a notable discount for a very recent title that just came out. And then you have a bunch of Assassin's Creed games and whatnot on the list as well. But this is a decent sale in my opinion. Some titles definitely should be steeper discounted than they are right now, or have a more steep discount than they do. But I definitely think that there's a number of notable ones that you may want to look into adding into your collection. So I want to hear from you guys at this point in the video, whether or not you're planning on picking up any of these digital eShop discounted games while it is on sale, and share with me which ones they are in the comments down below. And also share with me whether or not you think this is a good sale objectively for the Black Friday discounts on eShop top games, or if you think that Nintendo could have done a lot more this time around. So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around this topic. Go watch the weekend video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.